Cardinals. Welcome back to the art room. Last time in art class, we started to talk about how to create the illusion of three-dimensional forms in your drawing, and we started with basic geometric forms, things like cubes and spheres and pyramids and cones. Today, I want to show you how to go a little bit further and how what you draw and what it looks like depends where it's at in relation to your viewer. This is a little trick called perspective. So, without further ado, let us head over to the desk and I will show you. Alright, so I have my pencil, my eraser, a ruler. This is going to be super important today. So if you don't have one, get something with a straight edge that you can use. If you try to freehand it, it's probably not going to work. So this is muy importante today, okay? And then this is kind of a nice to have. This is a square stencil. All right? If you have one of these, cool. If you don't, no big deal. All right. So last time in art class, I showed you guys how to do some basic 3D forms. And today, I want to focus on this cube. Now, this is a decent way to draw a cube. It's not bad. It shows that it is, in fact, a cube. However, there's a problem. There's more than one way to draw a cube. Drawing the cube really depends on where it is. For example, let's say you're trying to draw a box, and that box is somewhere above your head. Maybe it's on top of a stack. You couldn't draw it like this, because if the box is above your head, could you see the top of the box? No. But this is what your brain is going to try to think of when you go to draw a box. So, how do we solve that? Well, the answer is perspective. Now, today, I'm going to show you a trick called one-point perspective. And it's really helpful to add that illusion of three dimension to your work. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to establish what's called an eye line. All right? I usually put mine about halfway between the top and bottom of the paper. This line does not have to split the paper exactly in half. It could be at an angle if you're going something wonky, but that works. That's going to work. It's about halfway. Then you're going to want to put a dot somewhere along that line. My suggestion for your first one is putting that dot somewhere in the middle. Now that is going to be the 1 point in our 1 point perspective. This line is where your eyes would be. Consider anything that you draw above the line is going to be above your head. Anything below the line is going to be below your head. So if it's above the line, you're going to actually see the bottom of the box. Whereas if it's below the line, you're going to see the top of the box. Let me show you what I mean. So here I've got my square stencil, and we are going to drop a few squares. Let's put one here. Let's put one, let's say down here. And you know what? What happens if we put one on the line right here, just to see what happens. And you know what? Let's add a couple more squares. This is going to be kind of fun. We'll put one over here. And let's put one right about. And you know what? Let's do one smack dab in the middle. Okay. Good start. So now what we do is you take the corners of the square and you draw lines to that central point. So I'm going to line my ruler up with the corner of that square and the point in the middle. Okay? Now I'm going to draw a line very lightly toward that point. And I'll stop if I hit a square. There we go. So I hit that square in the middle, so I stopped. Now I'm going to go from this corner to that point. And I'll stop when I hit that central square. Then I'm going to go from this corner to that point. You see why the ruler is helpful? It's really hard to freehand a straight line from a corner of the box to that point. So you will need some sort of straight edge. Voila. Okay. There we go. So now what we're going to need is we're going to need some lines that are parallel to this line and parallel to this line. So watch what happens. I take my ruler and I will put the edge, this edge of the ruler, on the edge of the square. And then I will simply connect this to that, making it parallel. Now this isn't going to be a cube. This is going to be a rectangular prism. I can already tell this is going to be kind of stretched out. See? Rectangle. Then I go from that point right here, line the ruler up, get it as parallel as possible. And then you draw a line that connects like so. I hope that connected. Yep, that connected. Cool. And now you would darken in the lines you want to keep. So I'm going to darken in that line. I'm going to darken in this line. And I'm going to darken in this line up here. Trying to adjust the ruler so I can see it the best. There we go. Like so. Okay? Then I can darken in these lines. Kind of establish that just a little better. Right? There we go. And now we can erase the little extra lines that lead toward that point in the middle, which, by the way, that's our vanishing point. So we erase the extra lines that go toward the vanishing point, and voila. It's above the eye line, so it would be above your head, so you can see the bottom of it. Let's see what happens if we do one that's below the eye line. All right. So again, we line up our ruler to the corner of the square in question and the vanishing point. And we draw. Very lightly, stopping when we get to another square. Okay, line up the next corner. And we draw. And then line up the next corner. And we draw. Like so. Ta-da! All right, now I'm going to use this because I don't want this one to be so stretched out. So I'm going to do this so I can kind of see where I'm going here. Got to kind of eyeball it. And let's go with that. That's going to be one line. And then we go from the top. And there is the other line. Okay. Reinforce the lines you want to keep. And erase the ones you don't. Now this box, this cube, looks a little bit like the one I showed you how to draw last time in art class. However, there's a difference. This cube shows what's called foreshortening. Foreshortening just means that if something is going away from you, it's going to get smaller. So if you take a look, the back end of the cube is actually smaller than the front end. So this creates that illusion of 3D a little better than just kind of drawing the cube out step by step. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do this one. Okay, so I line up the vanishing point with the corner. I draw till it stops. Corner, vanishing point. And I draw till I hit the square. And then corner to the vanishing point. And voila! Let's go like this. And go like that. And the key is to try to make these lines as parallel to the line of your square as possible. Darken in the ones I want to keep. And erase the ones I don't. All right. And there we go. So this is above, this is below. What about the thing on the eye line? This is where it gets a little weird. If something is right on the eye line, you can't see the top or the bottom of it. So watch what happens. The only two corners are going to be this one that goes down to the vanishing point, and this one that goes to the vanishing point. And then all you would need would be one parallel line right there. So when would you use this? You know, when is there something that is both above and below your eye line? Well, think about it. Have you ever walked by a building? Okay. When you're walking by the building, Can you see the top of it? No. Can you see the bottom of it? No. So this is actually a great way to draw buildings. And I will show you that another time. There we go. Now what about this one in the middle? Well, this one you don't have to do anything to. It is as 3D as it's going to get, unless you add some sort of shadow. There are no corners that you will be able to see that get drawn to the vanishing point. However, oh, here's something you can do that's cool. If you take the corner and you draw a line to the vanishing point, and this corner, and draw a line to the vanishing point, and do the same thing for the other two corners, and there's a line there, and there's a line there. Now watch what happens if I draw a square inside the square. That should be about right. And then I erase what's in the middle. Now it looks like a tunnel, especially if I do a little bit of shading and I start back here and make it dark, and as I move out, I get light. It almost looks like a hole. Let's work on that gradient a little bit. That you could fall into. We're going to make it a bottomless pit. It's a tunnel. I'm going to finish up these last two. Uh-oh, I lost my vanishing point. Shouldn't have done that. Oh well. I think I can figure out about where it is. Ooh, this one looks like it hits a block. Go out the other side. Like so. That's kind of cool. I like that overlap. Let's try to keep that overlap. So maybe we'll go here. And we'll make it a really long rectangular prism. And we'll drop the back right here. Like so. Right? Oop. That happens. Sometimes your ruler will lift up and you'll draw under it and it will be not quite perfect, but you know what? That's okay. Doesn't have to be. The overall effect of your drawing is still nice. Like so. Like so. And like so. There we go. Awesome. Oh, I got one more. I forgot about this guy. He was hiding in plain sight. Alright. So a little line toward the vanishing point. And a little line toward the vanishing point. Oh, it's going to hit this block. And another little line toward the vanishing point. Cool. You know what? Let's extend it all the way. I kind of liked what we did there with our overlapping forms. Overlap is another really nice way to achieve the illusion that your drawing is three-dimensional, because it shows that objects in your composition take up space, and that some can be in front and some can be behind. And it's creating that illusion of space that makes it look three-dimensional. Okay, let's clean up the extra lines. I'm going to get rid of my eye line here. You don't have to. You could totally keep it, especially if you're doing some kind of weird landscape. That eye line makes for a really good horizon line. Or if you just want to do random blocks flying through space, you can get rid of it. Cleaning up my lines, cleaning up my lines. Maybe later I'll go back and shade this. That might be kind of cool. But you can see, even without shading, you've created this effect, this illusion of three-dimensional forms, even though they are, in fact, flat. Ta-da! 1 point perspective.
So, what'd you think of 1 point perspective? Pretty cool, huh? Did it look like the forms were flying out toward you? Excellent. Keep playing with that. Keep practicing that, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. I have a few more cool tricks to show you, but you'll have to wait until next time in art class.